My family laughed when I was cut from Dad's party. So I built a $120,000 empire, exposed the lies, and made them watch me rise. I'm 34, male, married with 2 kids. Noah, 8, male, and Mia, 5, female. We live outside Columbus in a decent neighborhood where I run my carpentry business. I started it from scratch 5 years ago, after getting sick of working for other people who took credit for my craftsmanship. I clear about $85,000 a year. And I'm damn good at what I do. Custom furniture, high-end renovations, the kind of stuff rich people pay a premium for. I've built something real with my own hands while my family watched from the sidelines, always ready with their disapproval. Growing up, nothing was ever good enough. My brother Jeff became the golden child when he got into law school. My sister Kathy married Martin, a hedge fund manager worth millions, and never missed a chance to remind everyone how she'd married up. Meanwhile, I was the screw-up who wasted time in trade school. Dad was a bank executive, Mom a real estate agent, both obsessed with status and appearances. They wanted me in finance or at least sales, something they could brag about at their country club. The text came as I was loading tools into my truck. I had just dropped the kids at school and was heading to a job site, a $23,000 renovation for a local restaurant owner. I checked my phone and saw the family group chat notification titled, Dad's Retirement Bash. I tapped it open, expecting discussions about catering or gift coordination. Instead, I got a sledgehammer to the chest. Don't come to my retirement celebration, my old man wrote. The whole family doesn't want you there. You're a disappointment. Just like that. No cushioning, no explanation, just pure, unfiltered contempt from my own father. I leaned against my truck, reading it twice to make sure I understood. For years, they'd tiptoed around their disappointment in me, the tension at holiday dinners, the backhanded compliments about how at least I was good with my hands, the way they treated Rachel, my wife, like she was some kind of downgrade because she's a preschool teacher, not a corporate lawyer or married to money like Kathy. But this message, this was honesty, cruel, unfiltered honesty. I scrolled up. Nothing led to it. Just messages about venue details and someone posting about custom monogram napkins, then this bomb. I typed back, "You chose your country club friends over your son." Then I canceled the custom piece I'd been building in secret, a retirement gift. Let's just say he'd have paid thousands if he were a real client. Dad had always admired my woodworking, even when pretending not to. I was going to gift it to him as a peace offering, to show him there was value in what I do. Then the responses started rolling in. My cousin Greg replied first with laughing emojis. Then Kathy, my sister, wrote, "You really think you deserve to be there after how you embarrassed the family at Thanksgiving?" Jeff, my brother, the corporate lawyer, who I helped move 3 times and loaned $6,000 when he was between jobs, just liked the message and stayed silent. Then came the meme, my face photoshopped onto a construction worker with family screw-up captioned beneath it, sent by my Uncle Dave. I actually laughed, not because it was funny, but because it confirmed exactly what I needed to know. I was done. What they didn't know was that I'd been keeping receipts, not literal ones, but the mental kind that pile up over years. Every time they called for free home repairs, every time they made me feel like the black sheep because I didn't chase a 6-figure corporate job or drive a BMW, every family event where I was the butt of the jokes while fixing their deck for free, they thought I'd sulk, maybe turn up to apologize like always. Not this time. They'd cut the chain, and I had plans. Oh, I had plans. After that group chat, I didn't say another word, not in the chat, not to my dad, not to anyone in that family. I let them have their moment. I didn't block them or delete the thread. I wanted them to see me online, active, living my life. I wanted them to wonder. The first step was telling Rachel everything, not just about the message but about the years leading up to it. We were sitting at our kitchen table after the kids went to bed. She listened without interrupting, which is one of the reasons I married her. When I finished, she just reached for my hand and asked, "What do you want to do?" That moment hit me hard. Most people in my family would never have someone to back them up no matter what. I had that, and I'd been taking it for granted while chasing approval from people who'd never give it. I want to show them what happens when they lose the one person who actually gave a damn about more than appearances, I said. I'd already built a solid reputation locally, but my new marketing pushed it to another level. Clients who'd been on the fence for months suddenly wanted to book before I was unavailable. So we set to work that night. I called my buddy Derek, who runs a digital marketing agency, and asked him to help rebrand my carpentry business. Not just a basic website with my number, but professional photography of my work, client testimonials, a proper booking system, the works. It cost me $4,800, but within 2 months, I was booked 3 months out. The display case was just the test. I had a full blueprint for how to ghost these clowns while leveling up. Then I reached out to my old army buddy Marcus. We served 2 tours in Afghanistan together before coming home. He now owns a successful contracting company in Charleston, South Carolina. We'd stayed in touch over the years, and he'd been trying to get me to join forces with him for ages, saying the market for custom woodwork was exploding there, fewer skilled craftsmen than demand. He'd even offered to help me relocate if I ever wanted to. I texted him, "Still need a master carpenter in Charleston?" His response came within minutes, "Hell yes. My guys are booked 6 months out, got a client base ready and waiting." Meanwhile, I played it smart on social media, started posting my high-end projects, custom built-ins for a local CEO, a hand-carved dining table that sold for $9,500, workshop videos showing my process, always professional, always successful. I never mentioned family drama. I didn't need to, and they noticed. I saw them viewing my Instagram stories. Greg started liking my posts. Kathy commented on a picture of a walnut desk I built. "Wow, impressive work." Mom started sending private messages about random things, asking about the kids, sending articles about woodworking. I left them all on read. Then Dad texted directly, "Your mother's worried about you. Answer her messages." No apology, no acknowledgement, just an order. I didn't respond. I had an ace up my sleeve they didn't know about too. Then came my former boss, Kevin Barnes. I worked with him at a cabinet shop years ago. He never forgot how I helped him finish a rush job for the mayor when the shop was about to lose its biggest client. Kevin had gone on to become one of the most respected furniture designers in the Midwest, even had his own TV show now. We'd stayed in loose contact over the years. Occasional texts and project feedback. I sent him some photos of my recent work. He called me the next day. "Ronan, this is top-tier stuff. Why haven't you been showing this off?" We talked for an hour. By the end, he'd offered me a guest spot on his show and an intro to his distributor, who was looking for artisan pieces. Just like that, I had a potential national platform and distribution channel. 2 weeks after Dad's text, my brother Jeff called. When I didn't pick up, he left a voicemail. "Hey, Dad's retirement thing is next Saturday. Mom's asking if you're still coming. Let someone know, okay?" I didn't call back. Let them sweat. About 3 weeks after the text incident, I was loading up after finishing a built-in library for a university professor when my phone rang. It was my cousin Trevor, not one of the ones in the group chat. He'd moved to Seattle years ago, after a falling out with Uncle Dave over some borrowed money that was never returned. We kept in touch through occasional texts about football and fishing. "Dude, what the hell is going on with you and Uncle Richard?" he asked as soon as I picked up. I gave him the short version, the text, the responses, the years of being treated like the family failure. Trevor was quiet for a minute, then he said, "You know they talk about everyone behind their backs, right? Even St. Jeffrey." That caught my attention. "What do you mean?" He laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Your dad was at my parents' place last month. I was in town and overheard him and my dad talking. He was complaining about how Jeff's firm is struggling, and he had to help him out with the down payment on his house. Said something like, 'At least Ronan stands on his own 2 feet, even if it's just swinging a hammer.' That hit me like a truck." "There's more," Trevor continued. "Your mom apparently hates Kathy's husband Martin, calls him the arrogant prick behind their backs. And get this, the reason they're having this big retirement celebration, your dad didn't choose to retire. The bank pushed him out. Something about restructuring, but my dad said there were rumors about accounting irregularities in his department." After Trevor's call, I sat in my truck for a long time, processing. All these years, I'd thought I was the black sheep. Turns out the whole family was just a facade, a house of cards built on lies. The next day, I got a text from Megan, my sister Kathy's college roommate. We'd always gotten along at the few events where she was around. She'd recently started working at the same charity board as Kathy's rich husband Martin. "Hey Ronan, weird question. Is everything okay with Kathy and Martin?" She called me crying at 2 a.m., something about finding messages on his phone with his assistant. I called Megan back. Turned out Kathy had caught Martin cheating with his 26-year-old assistant. The perfect rich husband, the perfect marriage, the perfect life she'd always thrown in my face. another facade crumbling. 2 days later, my cousin Greg's wife, Amber, messaged me on Facebook. We weren't close, but she'd always been nice. Your family is in panic mode about this retirement party. Your dad's former boss and all these bank executives are coming. They're freaking out that you won't be there, and people will ask questions. Kathy actually suggested hiring someone to pretend to be you. Just thought you should know. I actually laughed out loud at that one. Hiring an actor to play the embarrassing carpenter's son? That was a new low, even for them. But the real kicker came from Kevin, my old boss. After agreeing to have me on his show, he'd made some calls to his industry contacts, asking about my work. One of those contacts was a high-end furniture dealer in Columbus who'd done business with my family. Ronan, weird thing, Kevin said. I mentioned your name to Stanley over at Columbus Fine Furnishings. He immediately recognized your last name. Said your parents had been buying from him for years. The strange part? He said they always show off your pieces to their friends, claiming they paid thousands for artisan furniture. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. They'd been bragging about my work, the same work they mocked me for doing. Kevin continued. Stanley said your dad once brought in some business associates and pointed to a walnut console table, one you'd made for them last Christmas, and told everyone he'd paid $7,500 for it from an exclusive craftsman. The pieces were falling into place. My family didn't just disrespect me, they were actually proud of my work, just not proud enough to admit their son was the craftsman. I was good enough to provide the status symbols, just not good enough to be acknowledged. That night, I told Rachel everything I'd learned. She wasn't surprised. They've been using you for years, Ronan. Free labor, free furniture, free childcare when they're in a pinch. But God forbid they actually respect what you do. She was right. And that's when my plan shifted from simply walking away to making sure they felt exactly what they were losing. I had about 5 weeks until our planned move to Charleston. In that time, I had to set the stage perfectly. First, I listed our house with Rachel's cousin, who's a realtor, but had her keep it off the public listings, private sale only. I told her, I don't want it broadcast everywhere yet. The housing market was hot, and we had done major renovations. All my own work. Rachel's cousin had quietly mentioned the market was heating up months ago, so we were already prepped. We just never told the family. We were asking $80,000 over what we paid 4 years ago, and her initial assessment said we'd likely get it. Housing inventory was at an all-time low in our area. Rachel's cousin had buyers lined up looking for homes exactly like ours, which is why we could command such a premium and close so quickly. Next, I focused on being highly visible without being available. I accepted an interview with a local business journal about custom carpentry in the age of mass production. The piece came out with photos of my workshop and highlighted upcoming projects, including a mention of potential expansion opportunities. I made sure to get extra copies but didn't send any to family. I also stepped up my social media game, posting daily project updates and client testimonials. I even did a few Instagram lives showing my process. The follower count jumped from a few hundred to over 10,000 over the next couple of months. Then I started declining local jobs. Booked solid for 6 months, I told potential clients, referring them to other craftsmen I knew. The truth was, I needed to clear my schedule for the move and new business venture with Marcus. About 2 weeks before the retirement party, I posted a cryptic photo, empty moving boxes stacked in my workshop with the caption, "Big changes ahead. Stay tuned." That's when the real messages started flooding in. Kathy called first, straight to voicemail, then Mom texted, "Honey, are you moving your workshop? Dad and I were talking about that spare room in the basement if you need storage space." I didn't answer. I let the questions hang. A day later, Jeff called. When I didn't answer, he sent a text, "Hey man, what's with the boxes? Everything okay with the business? If you need a loan or legal advice for a new business structure, I'm here." He'd always tossed jabs about manual laborers, until I mentioned my 5-figure client list. Suddenly they were all concerned about my career, the same one they'd dismissed for years. Then came the retirement party invitations in the mail. Formal, gold-embossed cardstock, announcing the celebration of Richard Henderson's 40 years in banking. Rachel handed me the envelope with raised eyebrows. "Guess they're hoping you'll still show," she said. I opened it. Inside, along with the invitation, was a handwritten note from Mom. "Ronan, please come. It would mean the world to your father. No apology, no acknowledgement of the text or the group chat mockery. Just the expectation that family obligation would win out over self-respect. 3 days before the party, Dad finally called. I let it go to voicemail. "Ronan, it's Dad. Your mother's worried sick about you. This silent treatment is childish. We need to know if you're coming Saturday. Important people will be there." Important people, not I'm sorry, just concern about how it would look to the important people if his son wasn't there. I didn't call back, but I did something better. I decided to finish the oak display case I'd initially canceled. It would be my parting statement, so I arranged for its delivery to their house. It was my finest work to date. Quarter sawn oak with dovetail joints, glass panels, hidden compartments, custom brass hardware, the kind of piece that would sell for $5,000 easy. I included a card that simply read, "Congratulations on your retirement. This is the last thing you'll ever get from me." The delivery was scheduled for the morning of his retirement party. Meanwhile, we were in the final stages of our plan. The house was under contract, sold for $95,000 over our purchase price. The moving company was booked. Marcus had found us a rental in Charleston, until we could buy something, and he'd already lined up 3 major clients eager for custom work. Kevin had scheduled me for his TV show the following month, and the distributor was reviewing my portfolio. Things were falling perfectly into place. The last piece of the puzzle was the most satisfying. I'd been in talks with Dad's bank's biggest competitor about designing and building custom furniture for their newly renovated executive floor. The contract was worth $120,000, more than Dad probably made in a year at the end of his career. The delicious irony was that his retirement party was being held at this competitor's event space, and I'd made sure the contract announcement would go live on their social media the morning of the party. The night before the retirement celebration, Rachel and I sat on our back deck, watching the kids play in the yard. She squeezed my hand. "Ready for tomorrow?" I nodded. More than ready. The morning of Dad's retirement party, I woke up early and checked my phone. The competitor bank had posted as planned, a press release announcing their renovation project, highlighting renowned local craftsman Ronan Henderson as the artisan selected for their executive suite furniture. They included photos of my previous work and a quote from their CEO about investing in local artisanal talent. The bank tagged me in the post. That's how half the party found out before they even arrived. I took screenshots and waited. At 9:37 a.m., my workshop security camera pinged with movement. The delivery guys were loading the oak display case onto their truck, right on schedule. At 10:15 a.m., Rachel came into the workshop where I was finishing some small projects. "Your mom's called 3 times in the last 10 minutes, she said, holding up her phone. "Should I answer?" "Not yet," I replied. At 11:22 a.m., the delivery company sent confirmation, package delivered and signed for by Richard Henderson. Then the storm hit. Mom called again, 7 times in a row. Dad called twice. Kathy texted, "What the actual hell, Ronan?" Dad's crying. "What did you do?" Jeff was more direct. "Answer your goddamn phone. This has gone far enough." I turned my phone off and spent the afternoon playing with the kids at the park. When we got home around 4 p.m., about an hour before the retirement party was scheduled to start, I finally turned my phone back on. 27 missed calls, 43 text messages, most from family but some from family friends and even a couple from Dad's colleagues. I scrolled through the texts. They ranged from rage to confusion to desperate pleas. "Mom, Ronan, please call us immediately. Your father can't go to the party like this, Jeff. How long have you been talking to First National? Did you know how this would look? Dad's career is ending with him being humiliated. Kathy, the display case is beautiful, but the card was cruel. Mom can't stop crying. Please call me back. Martin moved out yesterday, and I can't handle another crisis. Uncle Dave, you've gone too far, kiddo. Blood is blood." The most interesting came from Dad's boss. "Ronan, this is Walter Prescott. Very impressed with your work through First National. Didn't realize you were Richard's son. Would like to discuss potential opportunities." I showed Rachel the messages. She read through them and looked up at me. "They still don't get it, do they? They're not upset about hurting you, they're upset about looking bad in front of their friends." She was right. Not one message contained a genuine apology for how they treated me. It was all about reputation. At 5:30 p.m., as the retirement party was starting, I finally responded, not individually, but in the family group chat where it had all begun. By now, you've all seen the announcement and received my gift. Consider this my please reply to the retirement party. No, I won't be there to play the role of dutiful son in your performance of perfect family. For years, you've treated me like an embarrassment while secretly bragging about my work to your friends. You've called me for free labor while mocking my career choice. You kicked me out of the family when it was convenient, and now you want me back because it looks bad if I'm not there. Here's what you should know. I'm moving to Charleston next week. I've sold the house. I've signed contracts worth more than Dad made in his final year. The son you were ashamed of is now more successful than any of you. So enjoy the party, enjoy explaining my absence, and enjoy the display case. It's the last piece of me you'll ever have. I put my phone down and took the kids out for ice cream. When we returned, the real bombs had dropped. Trevor had chimed in, about time someone called out this toxic family dynamic. Amber, Greg's wife, your cousin has a point. Your family has always treated him like garbage. I've seen it for years. That night, as Rachel and I packed the last of our personal items, my phone rang again. It was Kevin. Ronan, what the hell did you do? I've got Richard Henderson's wife crying in my showroom, asking for my help to fix things with you. I hadn't expected that. My mom went to see you? Yeah, and she's a mess. Says you're moving across the country, and they didn't even know. Says you've been ignoring them for weeks. I explained the situation. Kevin listened and sighed. Look, I get it, but she seems genuinely broken up. Says your dad didn't write that text. Apparently your brother Jeff did. Used your dad's phone when he left it at their house during some family dinner planning session. Said it was supposed to be a joke that got out of hand, and no one knew how to walk it back after everyone piled on. Jeff wrote it and let Dad take the blame. That's what she's saying. Honestly, she's so distraught, I believe her. She brought photos of your childhood, pictures of your dad at your high school woodshop showcase. Said he kept every project you ever made. Even the janky birdhouse from 3rd grade. My mind was reeling. Jeff had started this? The golden child had impersonated our father to exclude me, and then let the blame fall on Dad? It made a twisted kind of sense. Jeff had always been jealous of any attention I got, always needed to be the favorite. But it didn't change the fact that no one had stood up for me. No one had set the record straight. They'd all piled on, all been willing to cut me out. Kevin, thanks for telling me, but it doesn't change my plans. They had weeks to come clean, to apologize. Instead, they only reached out when they needed something from me. We left for Charleston 2 weeks after the retirement party. The movers were already scheduled. I'd set the wheels in motion weeks before, knowing exactly how this would play out. I never responded to any more messages from my family. The moving truck came at dawn, and by noon, our old house was empty. The new owners would take possession the following week. We'd been planning this move longer than anyone knew. Marcus had been sending me rental listings for months, which is how we found a place that fit our needs so perfectly. The drive to Charleston took 11 hours with the kids in a moving truck. Marcus met us at the rental house with keys and takeout. The place was perfect, a 4-bedroom craftsman with a detached garage I could convert into a workshop until we found something permanent. I spent the first week setting up shop and meeting with potential clients Marcus had lined up. The market was even better than he described. Wealthy homeowners and businesses willing to pay premium prices for custom work. By the end of the week I had deposits for 6 major projects and a waiting list forming. Rachel found a preschool teaching position that paid 20% more than her old job. The kids adapted quickly. Noah joined a baseball league, and Mia found a dance studio she loved. We were building a new life, piece by piece. Then, exactly 2 weeks after we moved, I got a text from Trevor. Heads up, cousin, Jeff's been fired. Something about client funds and gambling debts. Your parents are freaking out. I didn't respond, but I did some digging. Sure enough, Jeff's law firm had a press release announcing his departure and reassuring clients that their accounts were secure. Reading between the lines, it was clearly damage control. 3 days later, Kathy called. Ronan, I know you probably hate us all right now, and I don't blame you, but I need to talk to you. It's about Jeff and Dad. Also, I'm living at Mom and Dad's now. The divorce is getting ugly. Martin's trying to take everything. Please call me back. I called her back. This better not be a guilt trip, I said when she answered. It's not, I swear, she replied, and I could hear she'd been crying. Everything's falling apart here. Jeff was fired last week. He stole from client accounts to cover gambling debts, almost $200,000. They're not pressing charges if he pays it back, but he doesn't have the money. And this concerns me. How? Dad remortgaged their house to cover it. The house they've owned free and clear for 15 years. They're in their 60s, Ronan. Dad's retirement savings are gone, and now they've got a mortgage payment they can't afford on their fixed income. I leaned against my workbench, processing. Again, why are you telling me this? Kathy sighed. Because Jeff confessed everything. About using Dad's phone to send that text. About how he's been sabotaging your relationship with the family for years because he was jealous of your talent and independence. He'd delete voicemails you left, tell Dad you said things you never said. He admitted it all. There were always signs of his interference, conversations that didn't add up, plans that mysteriously changed. We just never connected the dots because no one expects their own brother to sabotage them. She paused, then continued more quietly. And I need to apologize too. For years, I looked down on you because you didn't follow the path we were supposed to take. I married Martin because he had money and status, not because I loved him. I flaunted my big house and vacations, acted like I was better than you. Now look at me, divorcing, broke, living in our parents' guest room while my cheating ex-husband's lawyers try to take what little I have left. Part of me felt vindicated, but another part felt sick. And you all just believed him? No one ever questioned why I'd suddenly stop calling or say hurtful things? We should have, she admitted. After you left, a lot of things started making sense. The timing of misunderstandings, how Jeff always seemed to be the messenger when there was drama between you and Dad. We were blind, and we were wrong. I didn't say anything for a long moment. Finally, I asked, what do they want from me? Kathy, money. They don't know I'm calling you, she said quickly. But they're going to lose the house, Ronan. Mom's a mess. Dad's health is declining from the stress. They've started selling furniture to make the mortgage payments, including your furniture. I thought of the pieces they'd claimed cost thousands. The irony wasn't lost on me. I need to think about this, I said finally. I'll call you back. I thought about it long and hard. I wanted them to understand what they did wrong, really understand it. Not just apologize because they needed something from me. And I wanted Jeff to face consequences for once in his life. The next day, I called Kathy back. I need to talk to everyone. Set up a video call, you, Mom, Dad, and Jeff, tonight at 8. At 8 p.m. sharp, my laptop screen filled with their faces. They look terrible. Ronan, Mom started. We're so sorry. I cut her off. I don't want apologies yet. First, I want the truth. Jeff, tell me exactly what you did. All of it. Jeff swallowed hard. I used Dad's phone to send that text about the retirement party. I saw how much work you were putting into that display case. Heard you were planning something special. I was jealous. You built something real on your own terms. I was drowning in student loans and hating my job and gambling to feel something. When everyone laughed at the text, I was too cowardly to admit what I'd done. What else? I pressed. Over the years, I deleted voicemails, told Dad you'd said things you hadn't, convinced Mom you were too busy for family events when you'd actually said you'd try to make it. I've been driving a wedge between you and the family for years. Dad looked shell-shocked. Mom was silently crying. And now you've stolen from clients and dragged our parents into your mess, I said flatly. Jeff nodded miserably. I turned my attention to Kathy. And you? All those years looking down your nose at me and Rachel. She wiped her eyes. I was insecure. I needed everyone to think I'd made it. The whole time I was showing off my perfect life, he was cheating with half his office. Now I'm left with nothing. No alimony because of the prenup I was too stupid to read carefully. All those designer clothes and luxury vacations, and I have less savings than you do. I let the silence hang for a moment. Here's what's going to happen. Jeff, you're going to get help for your gambling addiction. Real help, not just promises. You're going to work and pay back every cent to Mom and Dad, even if it takes years. He nodded. Mom, Dad, I'm not giving you money. I am offering something else. Signed a lease on a larger workshop here in Charleston. The rental we're in has an in-law suite over the garage. You can move here, live in that space rent-free while you figure out your next steps. They stared at me in shock, but I continued. There are conditions. This isn't a free ride. Dad, you've got skills from your banking career. You're going to help me with the business side of my company. Bookkeeping, contracts, client management. Mom, you've got real estate experience. You'll help us find a permanent home here and then work with my designer to stage and photograph my pieces for marketing. You want us to work for you? Dad asked, looking confused. No, I said. I want you to stop being dead weight. If you want back in, earn it. Mom was openly crying now. We messed up, she said. I know it'll take time. No, I agreed, you don't. But I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for my kids, who deserve to know their grandparents, and I'm doing it for me, because carrying anger is exhausting, and I've got better things to build with that energy. I looked at Kathy. You're welcome too if you want. There's a spare bedroom, but same deal. You work, you contribute. No more looking down on Rachel or what we do. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I'd like that, and I promise I've learned my lesson. The call ended with tentative plans and tearful thank yous. After hanging up, Rachel put her arms around me. You're a better person than they deserve, she said softly. Maybe, I replied. Or maybe I just know the value of building something to last. 6 months later, my parents settled into the in-law suite above our garage. Dad applied his banking expertise to the business, handling our finances and securing a small business loan for workshop expansion. Mom leveraged her real estate background to find us a century-old craftsman house with land for a proper workshop and started staging my furniture pieces for professional photos. Kathy moved into our spare bedroom after her divorce from Martin destroyed her financially. Her hedge fund manager ex-husband got nearly everything, thanks to the prenup she'd signed, leaving her humiliated when he quickly moved his young assistant into the mansion Kathy had decorated. She found work at a local design firm and began marketing high-end furniture, including mine. The woman who once mocked my hammer swinging now showed clients my portfolio with pride. Business thrived beyond expectations. My TV appearance with Kevin evolved into a semi-regular guest spot. The first national bank contract led to 3 more corporate clients. I hired 4 craftsmen, with Marcus and me overseeing operations in both cities. Jeff kept his distance. He worked, paid off debt, and never asked for forgiveness. That was enough. The most profound change happened with Dad. One evening, while reviewing invoices, he admitted he'd never understood my craft until seeing it up close. He confessed to carrying a newspaper clipping of my high school woodworking competition in his wallet for years, hiding his pride because it didn't fit his notion of success. Dad gradually discovered his own talent for making small, intricate pieces and began teaching Noah woodworking on Saturday mornings. When some extended family visited for Thanksgiving, Dad openly praised my business to them. No hedging, no backhanded compliments. Later, Mom revealed that Dad used to secretly sit in the treehouse I'd built as a teenager, finding it the only place he could truly relax. She acknowledged how Kathy's perfect rich marriage had left her miserable, while my authentic path had brought me success and happiness. 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, Kevin's Instagram post revealed he'd called us Henderson & Son Fine Furniture in a feature for Artisan Woodworker magazine. Though we hadn't discussed bringing Dad into the business name, I decided to make it official, with the condition that appearances and status seeking were permanently behind us. The formal handshake with Dad meant more than any corporate contract he'd signed in his banking career. The next morning, I announced the official formation of Henderson & Son Fine Furniture to the family. Noah immediately asked if it might someday be Henderson & Sons, bringing genuine delight to my father's face. Funny how the people who dismissed me ended up building their lives around mine. That's all the revenge I needed. Jeff stayed quiet. He sent one last text a few weeks later. You earned everything. I just hope someday I can too. I left it on read. Some bridges don't need burning.